this Phdcci Aviation Series 2021, wherein we are focusing careers in aviation and air cargo in collaboration with Rajiv Gandhi National Aviation University. And as we know that this university has been envisaged as the premier institution of the higher learning with a lot of cutting edge and critical research to enhance the aviation industry in India. And from industry perspective, as we know that India is likely to become this third largest domestic aviation market very soon. And as we have the youngest demographic dividend, where we have a lot of upwardly mobile populations, and the aspiration of the air travel is growing. And in fact, on last Wednesday, there's a good news that the Cabinet Committee on Security has given go-ahead for procurement of 56C 29 MW transport aircraft from Airbus Defence and Space as Spain for the Indian Air Force. And this deal is estimated to be around $2.6 billion, and this will give a major boost to the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan of our government of India. And this will also result in many new type of jobs that will come in this domain. And this will be actually a catalyst in employment generation in the aerospace ecosystem, and also it's likely to generate around more than 600 highly skilled jobs directly and more than 3,000 indirect jobs, with additional 3,000 medium skill employment opportunities, with more than 42.5 lakh man hours of work within the aerospace industry. So with this important sort of announcement, I'll request first of all our chief guest, our main expert speaker, Mr. Ambar Dubey, Joint Secretary, Minister of Civil Aviation, and also the Vice Chancellor of Rajiv Gandhi National Aviation University, to kindly share his perspective with our young professionals. And a brief profile of Mr. Ambar. Mr. Ambar Dubey is an alumnus of... Take 1 minute, sir. Let our young students know that we have such important experts in ministry. So Mr. Dubey is an alumnus of IIT Bombay and IIM Ahmedabad, and has a professional experience of more than 27 years. And he was one of the 9 professionals who was selected in September 2019 by the Government of India to join as the Joint Secretaries in the Union Government. And at the Ministry of Civil Aviation, Mr. Ambar is looking after the IT, digital innovation, skill development, job growth, drone sector, and much more. And earlier, Mr. Ambar was the India Head of Aerospace and Defense at Global Consultancy KPMG, and has worked closely with Minister of Civil Aviation in many vital policies. He was also honored for valuable contribution to Indian aviation in 2012 by the then Aviation Minister. So without any further ado, Mr. Ambar, over to you, sir, for your deliberations.
Thank you so much. Namaskar to everyone, and thank you, Dr. Singh, for this very kind introduction. Also thank Bhavna ji and all our colleagues and good friends at the PhD Chambers. PhD Chambers doesn't need any introduction. One of the most premium industry bodies. So we were very keen to associate and use your strong platform to just reach out to the youngsters out there who might be keen on aviation. And I really admire the way your team has actually put together this webinar in such a short time. So thank you once again for that. We really appreciate it. Now, coming back to the issue at hand, careers in aviation, I don't even need to explain, because only on this call, I would request only those people should stay who are passionate about aviation. Okay, because unless you're passionate, you will not be able to survive in this industry. Just like the commando school, it is a little tough industry where everything runs on a split-second timing. There are no accidents or incidents or carelessness allowed. It's a very discipline-oriented, tech-oriented industry. It can cause a lot of physical and mental stress. So only if you're passionate about it, वैसे तो even कहते हैं ना शास्त्रीय संगीत भी अगर आप सीखोगे तो your guru who's teaching you a flute or classical singing will be very tough on you. So just like any other field here, because human lives are involved, it's going to be very tough. So only those, our first request is all those who are not passionate about aviation, you should not even continue on this call. Why waste another hour listening to some old babu from the Mantralaya? Okay, might as well watch a movie and have good things to do on a Monday afternoon. But those who are interested, just hang on. And let me also tell you that on the screen, you see all the people who are there involved with the university. These are all very passionate people who are in aviation because they just love aviation. Okay, and aviation has that little kida. You know, once it bites you, just like the COVID kida, with all due respect. Okay, it's a kida which stays with you all your life. So you remain unemployed, but you will never do anything other than aviation. That's the sort of nasha this sector has, and nasha in a good sense. So secondly, now we'll come quickly to the university. So this university is a very unique university. ऐसे आपने university कभी सुनी ना होगी ना देखी होगी. क्यों? क्योंकि ये ऐसी university जहाँ कोई professor ही नहीं. Can you believe it? It's a university without a professor. A professor, by professor I mean any regular professor on the rolls of the university. The entire vision of this university is this is an industry-led university. So this has been made of industry, by the industry.
Time है तो on रख लेना. Let him be on.
भावना जी किसको चिल्ला रहे हो, किसको डांट रहे हो? म्यूट तो कर दो.
Sorry.
Mute.
सबकी भावनाओं को ठेस लगा दिया. Anyways, so this university is completely by the industry, of the industry, and for the industry. Okay, all the courses run here are run by the industry. The whole idea is the industry should decide what the future employee you want. You based on and what are the requirements of the industry, say 2, 5, 10 or 20 years from now, design courses accordingly so that we can prepare our young people, because we can't teach you something which we learned in our school in the 80s, 90s or whatever, early 2000s. The pace of change in aviation, especially another area with Dr. Singh mentioned, drones, one of the most exciting sectors which I'm privileged to be working on. Okay, there's so much happening that whatever I learned today becomes redundant in 6 months. So how can we have a professor who maybe did his PhD way back in the 60s or 70s and 80s and we keep in pace with what is happening today? So all our teachers, all our revered gurus who come here are gurus of the industry. So they are either working with the industry or they are part of the industry or they are advisors to the industry. They come, they teach us, okay, and prepare our youngsters for the future so that by the time they finish the course, they already have a job in hand and they immediately start working. So like if I give live example, because people go by data and facts. So the previous, the first batch was just started in 2019 and the way we design is that in an 18-month course, like it's called the postgraduate diploma in airport operations. So there within, as a rule, we generally keep 1/3, as high as 1/3 of the course period duration is actually spent at the airport, on an airline or cargo or maintenance or ground handling or whatever. It will be spent on the airport, at the airport, on a live job, not just sitting in office and doing some lab work. Okay, so 1/3. So it's a 18 mahine ka course hai. So 6 months are actually spent because it's our program partner is GMR Airport. So they were very kind to get all our students either at Delhi Airport or Hyderabad Airport, the 2 airports that they control. So 6 months are actually spent at the airport. And wahi say Indigo picked up, or FedEx picked up, and DB Shankar picked up, and a couple of other people picked up. Adani Airports picked up, GMR picked up. So people based on how they perform. So it's not just the 12 months of study, but in the course itself, while doing their internship, they were picked up by different, that too in the pandemic year, which is the worst year in 100 years for our industry, our sector. This is the worst year in a century. And yet, look at a job needed. Yes, we have had some job losses, जहाँ पे redundancy थी, जहाँ पे flights बंद हो गई या cargo कहीं down हो गया, तो थोड़े से लोग को हमें unfortunately will have to discontinue. But and once the market picks up, they'll again be brought back. But even in that period, our students, despite the fact that they had no experience, but given the 12-month education at the airport, at the university, and then a 6 months practical training, they were picked up during the course. In fact, when they started working at Indigo, 2 months of the Indigo work was added as part of the 4 months that they have already completed. So out of 6 months, we said whatever the first 2 months will be treated, even though it's on the job, just by a simple certificate, we'll treat it as an extension of the 6-month mandatory internship at an actual airport. And they got their academic requirements all complete. So this just gives you a glimpse that this is purely an industry-led experiment. The infrastructure, next I'll talk about the infrastructure, is world class. And again, I'll say, don't believe me because I could be giving you wrong facts. Or seeing is believing. If you actually have a friend in, now everybody won't have a friend in Raebareli, Amethi or Lucknow. But if you have a friend, ask him to just go down. Ask him or her to go down. Your parents, if they are keen, they can come down. We'll be very happy to host them, take them around the campus. That's number one. Number two, you can look at the photographs there on the website. That will tell you a picture. Okay, so it's a beautiful campus. I mean, I just love going there. I mean, if I can get out of Delhi, I love going down to that place. It's just so therapeutic. Just being amongst those young kids and these passionate aviators and all that, and the cleanest air that you can get, because the other benefit is that it's right next door to IGRUA, which is the our largest flying academy. Because in fact, the university itself is set up on IGRUA land. So we have a common boundary And on the south of the university, you from those classrooms which are south facing, you actually see the active runway. Actually, it can become very distracting also. Because every 10 minutes you see a flight going away, flying off and landing. So if you're passionate, every takeoff and landing gives you goosebumps. Okay, so in fact, we keep the curtains off because it gets very distracting at times. And in the live airfield, again, you get very practical exposure because you interact with the pilots, you interact with the MRO, the maintenance of these aircraft happen every night and during the day also between flights. So you see maintenance, cargo of course is not there, but air traffic control, the firefighters, all those things you get to see in a live environment. Now, this is even during your 12 months of study. This is for the postgraduate, and for the 3-year course, which is a degree course, 2 years you spend in this kind of an environment. If you study the university, you have an active airfield right next door. Anytime you want to go as a group or even as an individual, if you want to go, of course, you can't just randomly walk in. But because it's a sister concern, both owned by the Ministry of Civil Aviation, so the movement is very easy. Okay. And you get a live environment where you learn, and whatever you learned in the classroom, you can actually check with people who are actual practitioners. Okay. So this is the benefit of having a active. No university in the country actually has an airfield right next to it, an active running airfield right next to them. And I think I'll just stop here because, as I said, I am not here to market the university because most of our seats are already full. Okay, and some of the other interviews are also scheduled during this month. So it's not about, we are not a private university where we requested PhD chambers to just do a course so that we can increase our footfalls. We genuinely want, there could be still that one person, that one boy or girl whom we did not reach out to because we have put out ads, we are on social media, but there could still be that one very brilliant aviator of the future, because effectively we are looking for people who join our industry, okay, our family, who will take over from us. One day we'll retire and move on, and we'll hand over the entire industry to you. So we are very keen that some of the best brains, so there could be that great boy or girl out there whom we somehow our message couldn't reach out. So this is a platform, a beautiful platform of PhD chambers, which you can use to listen to your queries, doubts, apprehensions, questions, क्या होगा, job मिलेगा कि नहीं, कैसा career है, aviation की तो धज्जियां उड़ गई, etc., 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 तो मैं क्यों आऊं, cost कितनी है, fees कितनी है, the usual questions which even I have for my own daughter who's just passed out of college. So we all have those natural questions. Okay, so this is a platform where we would encourage more questions, and we'll be very happy to answer. I have some very, very senior people who are on the panel. So now I'll give it back to Dr. Singh. I've done my whatever speech, and I'll be very happy to answer questions. Otherwise, we can move to the next speaker. Unfortunately, I have to leave at 4:45. So now, if we can have 2-3, if you allow, it's your show. So if you permit, maybe we can take 2-3 quick questions, and then we can move to the next speaker. So that even if I leave at 4:45, the show must go on.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Ambar Dubey, for giving the overall view of RGNAU, and you have in fact illustrated both the hard as well as soft infrastructure of the university, and it's definitely a perfect example of industry academia interface. Nothing best models in India we can see in universities. In fact, I had been to various universities like BITS Pilani is #1 in engineering, and in aviation definitely it is one of the best universities wherein we have more industry integration as compared to other universities. Thank you very much. And with this, now I'd like to invite Dr. Ganesh Krishna Chokial. Dr. Ganesh Krishna is the head of academics at RGNAU. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Singh.
Before Dr. Chokial comes in, I'm sorry to interrupt, but this itself is an example. First of all, I'm the so-called vice chancellor. Okay, I'm myself from the industry, as you very kindly explained. Dr. Chokial himself is an ex-board member from Airports Authority with some 30+ years of experience running airports, some of the most complex airports in the country, and he was head of operations. As member operations, he was member of the board and head of operations. So he's seen at that level. So though he's a PhD from IIT Delhi, but he's actually an airports person. So, and he heads our academy. So what more proof do you want? Proof is in the pudding. The pudding is in the eating.
Proof is in the pudding. That is.
Thank you, sir.
That is true. Right.
As our VC, Mr. Ambar Dubey has said that we are the only aviation university in India, and we are the 6th aviation university in the world. And we started our programs in August 2019 with the first program of postgraduate diploma in airport operations. Can I have the sharing rights, please?
Yeah, sure.
You have. So you have the sharing rights.
Okay, just a minute. Are you able to see my?
Not yet, sir.
Not yet.
Dr. Chogyal, best hoga if you can just WhatsApp it to Bhavna ji, or you can WhatsApp to me and I'll send it to Bhavna ji, and then it's much easier.
I have sent it to
I have
Bhavna ji.
this. I
Bhavna
have
ji,
the
open करवा दो.
presentation.
Yeah,
Just
please.
wait.
डॉक्टर साहब, मेरी रिक्वेस्ट है कि जितना शॉर्ट कर दें so that we can spend more time taking questions.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
कितनी स्लाइड्स हैं इसमें?
इसमें फोटोज ज्यादा हैं और अदरवाइज कंटेंट 3-4 ही है.
Perfect. बिल्कुल शॉर्ट रखिएगा ताकि ना मतलब we want to listen more. ठीक है.
Meanwhile, Amberji, there is a question on the board where somebody is asking that what is the plan to expand to other regions? They are saying that it is not possible to go to the north for everybody. So, is there any plan for expansion?
What a question है. कभी आपने वो देखा है IIT कानपुर और maybe IIT खड़गपुर? Do you know the head of Google? I mean, he's a poster boy, Sundar Pichai. From Tamil Nadu. Where did he study? IIT Kharagpur. Where is Tamil Nadu? Chennai one corner. Where is भाई education के लिए तो लोग US चले जाते हैं. आप क्या है? What is this north south bullshit here? I mean, sorry for using this language, but let's get out of all this. Life और aviation join कर रहे हो. फिर उसके बाद बोलो क्या? Where is this person from? Parul, I don't want to get into names, but where is this person from?
Let's assume he is from Tamil Nadu. Yeah.
Tamil Nadu or Kerala. For Tamil, for education, people travel half across the planet. Okay, and we are saying, oh, south, north, sir, how can we come to North India? So this is not a very valid question. It's not even worth answering. But since the question has been asked out of respect, okay, they'll be very surprised that 34%. I'll repeat, 34% of the current strength at RJNU, a small town in some place called Uttar Pradesh. Okay, 34% are from just two states, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. So
absolutely, I want to share my experience.
And also the list of students. I mean, even if you look at the, I mean, again, as I said, you don't have to never believe what you hear. Seeing is believing. Just go to the previous year's. You just go to the previous year's selection list. Just by looking at the names, you can make out which part of the country that person is from. So for education, and for aviation. You can't just take up a job and then say, no, I'm from Madurai, I'll be only in Madurai. There's no aviation. I mean, of course, there is aviation in Madurai, but otherwise we are limiting our career options. Like Sundar Pichai, you can go to Kharagpur, do your engineering, go far away to US, do your B school, whatever, MTech, MS or B school, and then make a great life which your parents and your friends and your family can be proud of. So please never, ever get into this whole bullshit about, I want to be close to my hometown. Chaliban, Chogyal sir.
Rajiv Gandhi National Aviation University is the only aviation university in India and 6th in the world. Next, ma'am. Yeah, and this is our infrastructure. Briefly, we have 2 seminar halls, we have 1 computer room, 2 libraries, 20 smart classrooms, and we have open air theater with the smart music system. We have boardroom, faculty rooms, common rooms. There are 8 faculty rooms, common rooms. Hostel block has got, there are 288 rooms, and that means 576 twin sharing rooms. Then we have senior faculty housing, junior faculty housing, and bungalows also, 3 bungalows also for higher officers. Next, ma'am. Yeah, this is our open air theater where we conduct our various cultural and other programs. Next, ma'am. These are the photographs only. This is the classroom, very smart classroom, and the capacity of the classroom is 48 at the moment. And due to COVID, we plan to have only 36 per classroom. This is our hostel blocks, 8-story hostel blocks, 576 rooms, twin sharing basis, and this is the single room for the student. This is the seminar hall. We have two seminar halls of 200 capacity seating arrangements. Next, man. And this is our computer room. Next, man. and of course the entry to the university. This is the university. And this was, recently, just now somebody was asking about, it's in the remote area.
This is
We
interesting
recently-
because
yeah,
this is not this is not North Indians wearing the Kerala sari.
yeah, this is the Onam festival we recently celebrated in the university, and it was excellent program by students. And this is the flower rangoli created by our girls from Kerala.
And even the boys in dhoti are not the North Indian boys who've been forced to wear the dhoti.
Yeah, and this was the Women's Day at celebrated at our seminar hall, and our playground. Next, ma'am. Again, playground only. Yeah, this is the common room, and this is again, we have our annual program called Udan, and Udan 2021. This is the, it is a sports and cultural program that is, the girls performing here. And now starts the details of the program. So the first program we started in August 2019 was a postgraduate diploma in airport operation in collaboration with GMR Airports, GMR Aviation Academy. And the first batch is already, they have passed out. And out of 24 students, 18 have already been selected by organizations like Indigo, Adani Airports at Lucknow, Guwahati, and Mangaluru airports, Delhi and Hyderabad airports of GMR Airports, and FedEx and DB Schenker, they are the cargo operators. The second batch of PGDO online classes, because of the COVID, started. We commenced on 4th November, and physical classes started on 10th December 2020, and the second semester is in progress at the moment. And admission for the third batch is open up to 15th of September. It is the online course. I will give the details later on. And this is these are the details of the postgraduate diploma in airport operation, which is the admission is open up to 15th of September. This is the 12 months classroom training and 6 months on-the-job training at GMR Airport, that is IGI and Hyderabad airports. And candidates should have minimum 55% marks in aggregate, that is for general and OBC candidates, and 50% marks for SC/ST candidates. The age limit is 25 years at on 31st July 2021, and should be able to provide the final certificate by 29th October 2021. Next, please. And the second program, that is the bachelor's program, is Bachelor of Management Studies in Aviation Services and Air Cargo. This is in collaboration with, LSC, Logistic Skill Council, which is under the Ministry of Skill Development. And this is 3 years undergraduate program, 2 years in the university, and 1 year apprenticeship with the industry. During the apprenticeship, the student will get 9,500 to 10,000 rupees per month as the stipend. And the first batch of 32 students online classes have started on 2nd November 2020, and physical classes started in, I think, 10th of December. And this is the, the eligibility criteria: 2 years classroom and 1 year as apprenticeship training. And they will get around 9,000 to 10,000 stipend per month. Candidates should have minimum 50%. In case of PGDO, it was 55%. In this case, 50% in 10+2. That is for general and OBC class. And for SC and ST, it is 45%. And the age limit is 21 years on 31st of July 2021. And they should be able to submit their final certificate by 29th October 2021. Next, ma'am. And we have one more course, certificate course, that is 6 months certificate course on basic firefighters course. And this is again in collaboration with GMR Aviation Academy. And 3 batches, third batch is started on 16th July 2021. And the admission for next batch is open. Actually, it's a continuous, since it's only 6 months. So the admission is continuously open for these batches. In fact, out of the first batch of our basic firefighters course, 5 firefighters have been selected by IGOA itself. They have a fire station. Every airport will have a fire station, and you have to keep a mandatorily, the fire equipments as well as the manpower, minimum manpower. Otherwise, your category goes down. Airport category goes down. So you have to keep. So there is a lot of demand for the manpower in the industry for firefighters. And our students have also gone for in one airport in Maharashtra, Sindhudurg Airport, and recently HR team of Hyderabad and IGI Airport were here, and I'm told that they have shortlisted around 40 students from all the batches for selection at these airports, because many of their own firefighters are going to Qatar. I'm told they have been selected. So it's good for firefighters that within 6 months they get the job. Within 6 months they complete the training program and then they get the job also. Here, the physical fitness is very important, and even the height also. For female, it is 157 centimeters, and for male, it is 165 centimeters. And qualification is 10+2, and maximum age limit is 24 years. Next, please. This is the fee structure. In fact, for postgraduate diploma, it is 3.3 lakhs fee, and including the hostel fees, it comes to 4.54 lakhs. Next, please. And in fact, because of the COVID, we have reduced the first installment to 20,000 rupees only, and we will give them time for, if they want to get the loans from banks and all those things. So the second installment will be after 1 month. And for BMS, it is actually 2.5 lakhs for 3 years, but with the hostel facilities, it is 5.33 lakhs for 3 years. And for nearby areas, so suppose the student is from Raebareli, or for that matter, nearby areas in Amethi, we are thinking of allowing the students to be day scholar also, because we don't have adequate number of hostel rooms at the moment. Thank you very much, and now it's open for questions.
Thank you,
Just a
sir.
small
Thank you.
clarification.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, but just a small clarification. What Dr. Chokial mentioned was about the shortage of rooms is primarily because of COVID, we had put everybody in single rooms.
Single rooms,
Okay.
yes.
But these are designed for double seaters, so there's no shortage. In fact, we have some houses free in the staff quarters also. As I mentioned, this was designed in a particular way, but our vision is very clear. So we don't have too much staff. The staff is primarily from all our industry program partners. So they come, they train, and they go back. So even on the staff quarters, those flats can be opened up. The ladies can be shifted there. And so rooms, there won't be any problem. He's saying primarily because we have some 60 students of IGRUA, the flying school, also staying in our hostels, because they also ran out of space, and because of COVID, there were some COVID policies that we enforced. So we avoided any twin sharing. So that's why it's a temporary shortage, but it shouldn't be a big problem.
Yeah, it's temporary only. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Chokial. In fact, the question as a student, if admin student comes to my mind, like what is the average compensation that the student gets immediately after passing out from the university? The average compensation.
Yeah, actually, the students who have been placed in industry, the first batch of PGDO, in the spirit of pandemic, or the whole of the industry, most of them are in loss, including the airlines. You must have, and even Airport Authority of India is in loss for the first time in so many years. So in spite of that, our student could get around 30,000 per month package at the moment. But once the traffic picks up, there is great demand.
Yeah, and this is, as Dr. Chokial rightly mentioned, this is in the worst year in a century.
Yeah.
For aviation. Not only 18 out of 24 are placed, and the remaining 6 also, I'm sure we are anyway in talks with many people. In many companies have also said that at this moment, Mahal is very bad, but they've taken note of it, and they'll be very happy to pick up university, because this is the only university which is giving them trained people. Other universities, nothing called. I mean, there are, of course, certain universities which give aviation courses, okay, but there's no aviation university per se. So, and because this is government, they know, the fullest confidence they can have about the way it was the courses have been conducted, and this whole concept of one third of their entire study period being spent in a live environment. And which airport can you think of bigger than Delhi That's the largest airport in the country, and all kinds of foreign airlines and everybody comes here. So that exposure is very, very valuable. And to get 30,000 is just a starting. If I tell you my starting salary 27 years back, I mean, you won't even be able to order a vanilla ice cream for that. So first salary doesn't matter at all.
That is true.
It's the your education and that experience which you get is value, and 10 years later it could be 100 times your current salary, or maybe one third, or unemployed. It all comes down to how we live our life on a daily basis than our starting salary.
That's true. Thank you, sir, for adding this flavor. And as a student, normally, there is a lot of attractiveness towards the first salary, whatever, the vision is. Really great. Thank you, Dr. Chokial, for giving the overview of RG and NU. And now we have the expert panelists who will actually guide all the students in terms of what are the future options, because as we know that aviation industry has taken a hit as same as the hospitality industry. But in this, dooms, time also, there are a lot of opportunities, as Dr. Chokial said, that the first batch is totally placed. So it's one of the, brightest spot in terms of, the admission system and also the career enhancement in air cargo as well as aviation industry. And we have the expert panelists who will guide us, like, to the students also, like what actually holds for them if they join this particular space. So we have Mr. Ramesh Venkat, the head of industry partnerships, LSC Logistics Sector Skill Council of India. We have Mr. Bala Subramaniam P, founder and CEO of Air Cargo Consultancy International Services. Mr. Naresh Rao, Director Regulations and Compliance, Indigo. Ms. Parul Kulshrestha Singh, Chief GMR Aviation Academy. Captain Archana Kapoor, Type Rated Instructor, CRM Facilitator, Airbus 320, Vistara Tata, CI Airlines Limited. And with this, I'll request our first panelist, Mr. Ramesh Venkat, the head of industry partnership of Logistics Sector Skill Council, to kindly share his perspective with our young students in this particular platform. Over to you, Mr. Venkat.
Many thanks, sir, and it's been a pleasure, honor, and privilege to be a part of this PhD session with all of you. I'd like to quickly have a few slides, not more than about 4-5 slides, where I'd like to just present for the benefit of the students. Bhavna, could you either give me the share or you can switch on, to the PPT, please, that I shared with you. Yeah, thank you. So I'll just quickly, for the benefit of all, so Logistics Sector Skill Council is again part of the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, and we have a set guidelines through sectoral linkages where we create the qualification packs, which is the content for the civil aviation sector. So now, in fact, Captain was supposed to be here, and he asked me to emphasize this point to all of you. The employment in civil aviation sector is aligned and actually given with modernization of various airports, new aircrafts coming into play. So the jobs are given both for air cargo and for the passenger traffic. It is the sheer skilling that needs to be kind of put in or embedded for a seamless academia industry linkages. Next. We'd like to just quickly, go through the various 12 subsectors that Logistics Sector Skill Council pans across. We are primarily into land transportation, air cargo operation, warehousing, includes storage and packaging. E-commerce of late has been on a boom during pandemic, and air cargo operation has been very symbiotic with e-commerce industries and moving a lot of high value goods. We are also into skilling of supply chain, rail logistics, courier express services, liquid logistics. As we currently speak, we've been training thousands of drivers for liquid medical oxygen, anticipating the third COVID wave next month. We are also into export-import logistics, which includes freight forwarding, custom clearances. Then we pan across our skilling with various port terminals, ICD, CFS, cold chain, and the latest one, which is inland waterways. Logistics sector has scoped into these 12 subsectors, and we created standards for the job roles in various subsectors. We've also created 33 optional trades or job roles for apprenticeship in the industry, like in civil aviation. We have thus far linked about 8 subsectors with about 45 related job roles and 12 optional trades. Next. If you look at the careers in air cargo operations, like Amberji said, this spans across this revenue. There are multiple job roles. I mean, once you get into civil aviation, you can slice and dice various job roles that is of interest to the students today. You manage the revenue management and pricing. Can be for passenger, can be for cargo. Network planning and scheduling of all your tasks, and various things. Sales and marketing is another key thing where there are newer people, entrants who are coming into civil aviation, and that is a great job that's in demand, and also goes with passenger reservations and ticketing. Because if you look at aviation as a sector, you need to multitask. It is a combination of both passenger and air cargo, which is, if you look at the flights, both leave and land at the same time. And if you look at today, aviation sector breeds technology. So IT, information technology, is another key thing where, like Amberji said, what you learned a few, maybe years ago is redundant today. So this needs constant reskilling and upskilling. And I think RGNAU has got a fantastic facility where this can be showcased and knowledge, skills imparted to the aspiring students. Then you have business process outsourcing. A lot of, logistic service providers have their business process outsourcing, which is another key career path for in air cargo operations. You have many newer airports coming in, even at remote places. So airports with travel management is something that students can aspire next to get their careers into. And these, I had just it's encapsulated a few things, like you have airports, then you have various types of pricing and yield management. Yield is profitability. Planning and scheduling of various aircraft tasks that you need to do in air cargo operations. You have multiple types of cargo coming in where you are taught what to invert, what to reject, how to store, etc. That is another stream that would be very, very interesting in BMS civil aviation air cargo operations. MRO is again a topic that I've been part of with PhD with the aviation minister last time when it was conducted. Maintenance, repairs, operations, overhauling is something that was stressed upon. This is also touched upon in the courses that is being offered. Crew management, revenue accounting, reservations, sales and marketing, like I said, and various kinds of flight operations are into the curriculum that we've added. Next. And what was remarked earlier, so this program of BMS air cargo operation is conjunct with apprenticeship program, where the apprenticeship embedded program has 2 years of classroom of pedagogy training plus final year of apprenticeship, where the students are pretty much lucky, I would say, to learn and earn today, which was not an opportunity that we used to have earlier. So I think it should be well embraced by the youth and the gig economy today. Each semester is a unique combination of general education and skill subjects that has been meticulously created for this program of BMS. The faculty is drawn from the industry so that people who impart the knowledge knows what they are talking about, and this is well cascaded and percolated to the students with a lot of use cases, perspectives, along with the theoretical concept. And you also have elective for specialization. We in LSE try to bridge the gap between the theory and practical applications. It is a blended program through industrial visits and hands-on OJT through apprenticeship. The focus is on employability skills to help students transition from campus to corporate. In fact, if you notice in the recent past, we have a lot of companies such as Tata Consultancies, Mahindra, Tech Mahindra, who are ready to partner in giving the best of technological education in civil aviation, transport management systems, which are some of the best practices taken from various global companies that they've been imparting. Next. So we have about 10, I'll just cut it short. So the QP stands for qualification pack, or the content that is created for aviation in BMS. So these are the job roles which is undergone certain approval process through QRC, and there are many more which are under development. Some of the the demand job roles that we find in civil aviation today are air cargo ground operations associate, which is an entry-level job. Then you have airline operations associate, airline operation executive, supervisor, then manager. You also have airport operations executive. We've seen a growth because of e-commerce in these job roles. Next. Yeah. So if you look at various job roles, the entry level is associate, second is executive, third is a supervisor, then a manager. So you have a lot of demanding job roles from the industry, where on air cargo, airport operations, cargo commercial operations, in supervisory and managerial cadre. Next. Thank you. I think it is extremely heartening to see more and more students joining this university, and I'm sure this will give you a fantastic career path ahead. And we'll be very happy to take questions from you as we go by. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mr. Venkat. And just for the sake of confirmation, whether there is some sort of RPL courses in Logistics Sector Skill Council also? Recognition of prior learning for students?
That's a good question. Yes, these are government-funded programs where we've been doing it for rail, land, and we have done it for a lot of MSMEs for freight forwarding, custom clearance for thousands of people. Yes, we do have, and definitely this will be imparted as we go along. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Now with this, I'd like to invite Mr. Bala Subramanian MP. Mr. Bala Subramanian is the founder and CEO of Air Cargo Consultancy International Services. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Singh. I'm conscious of the fact Mr. Ambar Dubey has to leave in a few minutes' time. Just to give a quick background of mine, I have been the vice chairman of IATA board for more than 25 years, and I'm still the council member of International Civil Aviation Organization, writing contents for the whole world, not for India alone, for the whole world. So what you found when Mr. Ambar Dubey and Mr. Ramesh Venkat talked about BMS in air cargo aviation, what he spoke about in qualification package, I'm very pleased to say with all humility that it is my personal contribution there. One thing you can be sure of, so what you are getting it is what everybody in the whole world are getting. In other words, it is the international standard that we have brought to India at the global level. Of course, customized to Indian situation for us to run the business in India according to Indian conditions and Indian regulations there. One point before Ambar moves away from the screen, he mentioned a word that you need to have patience to be in this industry. I have completed 44 years in aviation as of 12 days back. 1st of September 1977, I started. If you cut every blood vessel of mine, there will be only aviation dripping out, not blood. It is just aviation and aviation. It is, I have worked on aviation all the while. and you need to breathe, eat, drink, and sleep aviation. So I fully support Amber's statement there that it is not और एक काम है, और एक job है, और एक नौकरी है, उसमें तनख्वाह मिलेगा, and I will get a promotion, and my desk is 4 feet by 3 feet. I'll get 22 files in, 42 files out. No, the answer is a strict no. You need to really live and breathe aviation. Second point, there will be hundreds and thousands of people always looking at one 3-letter English word, J-O-B, job, 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 job. I'm not saying don't look for a job. Don't limit yourself just looking for a job. You could be the Sundar Pichai of tomorrow. You could be the Ambar Dubey of tomorrow. You could be anybody of tomorrow there. Why? Not because all those good things fell in their lap. They worked for it. You need to have a passion and you need to take your dreams forward and you need to say, what can I contribute? Initial phases of life, what can I learn? Once I learned a lot, I don't stop learning. I continue to learn, but I start contributing, giving back to the industry. That's one of the reasons, even though I retired from the 9-to-5 job, I continue to write not alone for the whole world, ICAO and IATA. I still conduct courses for International Civil Aviation Organization for all the 193 countries and for IATA for all the 300 airlines in the world. But if I can't do it for my motherland, why would I do it for other people more? So I'm doing it more for India. Amber Dubey ji knows it very well. I'm trying to contribute maximum international standards to our industry. I don't want the next generation to be like us. I want them to be better than us. I want them to bring a better aviation industry forward there. So the job is critical, but more important in that passion is for you to become an entrepreneur probably. Probably like small kids these days, you start creating an app in air cargo, in maintenance, in revenue management, in anything. It starts like a play and then it becomes a huge passion and then you start ruling the world. You start taking the industry to a different paradigm. You are not in the beaten track of what your grandfather did, what your father did. No, you are creating a new line. So I want these points to be taken deep into the heart of every student who is listening to this program. That is what brought us. It is not that I was thrown from heaven directly here or Amber Dubey was thrown from, no. We all came through like exactly the 40 people who are sitting and listening today. And then we studied, we took the industry, we learned, we still learned, and we contributed. Now, another thing is, as far as the international view is concerned, aviation industry, everybody was painting a bleak picture, which is partially correct because of COVID, blah, blah, blah. But only adversity will bring out the best in person. Take this as phoenix rising from the ashes. This is the greatest opportunity for every one of you, 45 of you sitting here, to rewrite the history of aviation and take it 10 times better than what it was done by seniors like us probably. So that is a very strong point, I would say. I'm not going to spend much of time to say what is air cargo, what are the components, what are the different players in the ecosystem, how does it work? No, because that is not my objective. My objective is to bring information to the children, to kids. I could still call them kids because I'm 60 plus today. So those people have got to, I will give another totally different angle. I think Amber has heard me once say this. When children and parents sit together or friends sit together and talk about career, immediately the words that will come to their mind is doctor, lawyer, architect, IT person, the whole lot of it completely. Physics, chemistry, history, geology. I want aviation to be part of the discussion there. Aviation should be that much of a mainstream as you get in terms of physics or chemistry or accountancy or law or any such thing. This is still a green on industry. That means the 45 of you listening to all of us here, you have got better opportunity than running a marathon race with 25,000 other people in an engineering line or a commercial line. Look at that. Look at the positive of aviation industry there. Again, I think Dr. Jatinder Singh also mentioned once and Dr. Chaukial mentioned once more, we are in tough times. That means we are going to only become better. And for us to become better, on the day when things become better, I cannot produce a magic wand and create trained people. I need to do it today, yesterday even, not even today, yesterday. So this is absolutely the right time for us to get the best of skills. And again, I would like to reiterate one point across all of you mentioned there. You are going to get exposure to real life in Delhi airport, Hyderabad airport, Fursatganj type of places. You are not going to talk about beaker and pipette of a physical lab sitting at home. You are going to stand in the lab and look at the beaker. Similarly, you are going to look at the aviation industry, see how an airway bill is executed, see how a ticket is issued, see how an aircraft is maintained, see how a pallet is loaded, see how an aircraft is unloaded, everything. If you ask me to talk, this 45-minute time of mine or a 2-hour seminar of PhD should become 2.5 years of PhD. I can still talk about this industry of this, but I want you to take the best out of this. And anytime, any type of questions, please ask, because again, I'm very proud to say every syllabus which Mr. Ramesh Venkat read, yours truly, I personally wrote that entire syllabus for the past so many months. Actually, I continue to write. Ramesh keeps me sleepless every day. So
Absolutely.
I still continue to do that. And I would like to continue to contribute because this industry has given me so much. I would like to contribute 10 times what this industry has given me by bringing India to the global level. We are not less than anybody. Today, if I sit in every aviation council with a heavy heart, let me tell you, I am the only Asian who sits in that. Why should that be? I would like to see any number of Asians, any number of Indians to sit in those councils and don't simply take the rule, make the rule. Don't simply follow the rule, create the rule. Don't simply run with the industry, shape the industry forward. That's what I can say. I would stop at this point in time. Happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Balasubramaniam, for speaking directly from your heart and the type of passion you actually showed that actually talks of itself that in terms of your commitment to aviation industry. And as you rightly said, and I want to just sound the same thing to my dear students also, the type of ecosystem that we see at the airports, the big aircrafts and the big cargo machines and everything, it actually gives a lot of trust in terms of becoming mega, because everything is mega at airports. It broadens our vision, it makes us more versatile, and it makes us more elegant in terms of, because the type of handling that's done at airports is definitely this is the best of the sheen, and it is very value driven. So thank you very much, Mr. Balasubramanian, for your talk, and I'm sure that you are one of the best mentors for the students in times to come, and please keep on driving the students with the same momentum and energy level. Thank you very much indeed. Now I'd like to invite our next distinguished speaker, Mr. Naresh Rao. Mr. Rao is the Director Regulations and Compliances at Indigo. Over to you, Mr. Rao.
Thank you. Good evening, Sri Ambar Dubey, Honorable Joint Secretary of Civil Aviation, members of the RGNAU University, members of Phdcci, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, as we always say in Indigo. It's actually a great pleasure to be amongst these stalwarts, and to be honest, I'm actually quite speechless after hearing the passion which Mr. Balasubramanian just demonstrated. As they say, once an aviator is always an aviator. So I would like to tell these students, and as Mr. Ambar Dubey was saying, I started my career in '98, and my first salary was about 8,500 rupees. It was decent compared to what was going around at that time. That's how I started my career in '98. One thing that
Rao sir, your voice is breaking, I think.
And other.
So what you can do, you can switch off your video, sir, for a better bandwidth. Rao sir, you can switch off your video for a while.
Can you hear, please?
Ji.
Am I audible?
Yeah, better. Please go ahead.
Sorry for the network.
Yes.
Till now it was fine.
Sure,
As I say, whatever goes wrong, goes wrong. So I was saying that, it's the passion and the commitment that gives you opportunities from where you start and where you end. To be honest, when we started our careers in aviation, we had no guidance and no formal education in aviation like what RGNAU is currently providing. So you are at a space where you are able to leverage the combined expertise of all the stalwarts and start from a position where we could only get after some years. So you're already a little ahead of where we started from. And as per some data available, it is expected that India will have about 1,100 planes by 2027, which is probably an addition of 57% of what we currently have in the next 5 years. So I think there is no dearth of opportunities. There is no dearth of the requirement for skilled manpower to sustain what the vision our Honorable Civil Aviation Minister or our Honorable Prime Minister has put forward for the country. And to be a little bit statistic driven and data driven, it is estimated that approximately the world aviation contributes about 4% to the GDP, supporting some 65 million jobs, which is only bound to increase from here on in. Despite the lowest ebb, which everybody else has elucidated because of COVID, we have done significantly better. And cargo is one of the main source of sustenance for even a passenger airline like Indigo is. Cargo has helped us through times and passengers could not fly, and now we can only get better and passengers will start flying again. We've started opening up, it's easing out a little bit. So, and I think Mr. Ramesh Venkat pointed out some very nice points about certain career opportunities which are normally not discussed. For example, the glamorous jobs of pilots and cabin crew are very well chronicled and everybody knows about them. The jobs of airport operations and management of airports is very well now brought out into the open. But I think there are a lot of areas which needs a lot of exploration and it's wide open. For example, if you see the management of yield, which Mr. Venkat pointed out, safety professionals. Safety in itself is not a word; it's a practice at aviation. There are a lot of safety courses available. Customer experience. That's at the end of the day, we all pay for some sort of experience, right? Then there are areas around HR. Technology has taken over aviation like nothing before. You'll be surprised to know that most of the traditional training methodologies were all contact. It's just that when the pandemic took us, we were forced to adopt technology, and technology has walked into every sphere of life, not only in management, but also in simple data communication, data transfers, knowledge transfers. So there is no dearth in that field as well. I'll just keep it short. I'm ready to take any questions. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, sir, for your deliberations. Now, with this, I'd like to invite Ms. Parul Kulshrestha Singh. Ms. Parul is the Chief of GMR Aviation Academy. Over to you, ma'am.
Hi, thank you, Phdcci Chamber of Commerce, and warm welcome to all the students who've gathered today here from college and schools. So, I will start with a positive note and say that there's a lot of anxiety today in the minds of students. मैं कोर्स कर तो लूंगा, 4 लाख खर्च कर दूंगा, 3 लाख खर्च कर दूंगा, नौकरी मिलेगी कि नहीं मिलेगी. So, I mean, this is not the time to think about those. I'll just give you why. So we all know that passenger traffic has gone down to 30-40%, and it is in the road of recovery. But aviation is just not passenger traffic. There are various roles. For example, cargo is back almost 100%. Okay, so there are various airports. Like even during pandemic, I was handling a cargo terminal that time, and there was not a single day when there was a no flight. Okay, so every day and night there were extra flights coming in with vaccine, with masks. So there was a lot of supply chain goods which were moving to and fro, essential goods. There was not a single day where we did not have shifts running. So there was not a single day when the airport was closed. So that was the situation of cargo. We have already heard our new aviation minister speak. There are several new, smaller, medium-sized, large airports coming in. Each of the existing airport is under expansion. Delhi is under expansion. Hyderabad is doubling its capacity. Bangalore has added a new runway. Mumbai is building a new airport altogether with Adani called Navi Mumbai. Airports Authority has several of the airports underway. Indigo has not stopped any of their airplane orders which they had placed. There are new airlines which are being launched. One old airline is being revived. There are new airlines coming in. So if you see the dynamics of the industry in aviation, by no means you can say that there is a slowdown in the number of jobs or in the number of opportunities available for you. Then, having said that, there are these courses that have been designed for you. These are not typical graduate and master's courses. They have on-the-job elements. So if you can pick up skills and excel at an interview, which is the main place where you want to be, then these are the courses. This course, for example, the bachelor course or the postgraduate program, if you do, you would have worked hands-on in terminal operation. You would have run a shift. You would have seen how to handle guest relations. You would have handled tough customers. You would have seen how to plan security and safety for an airport. You would have seen corporate roles. You would have seen cargo terminals. You would have walked into some of the courier terminals and seen the working. There would have been several such instances that you would learn hands-on in the 6 months in different departments all throughout the airport. So this is the best place to be if you want to be in aviation. There are several job roles available in airport, in ground handling, in airlines, in MROs, in cargo, in freight forwarding. There are several of these job roles available everywhere in the aviation sector. So by no means should you be worried that and have anxiety that after doing this course, you will not have a job. You will, if there are 10 candidates, you will stand out because of your knowledge that you would have gained during these 12 months of studies, which has been designed by industry experts like Bala Sahab, like Mr. Ramesh, and several of these senior experts who have 40 years of experience working in the airport, solving the problems, adding new initiatives, taking new IT initiatives, putting in latest technologies in the airports. So this is the place to be if you want to be in aviation. I'm reiterating. As Chokial Saab said, that the admissions are still open. We are only looking for people who have passion for aviation, and we are looking especially for girls as well. There was a question in the beginning that how will they send it? So I mean, the problem is only with probably the mindset of the parents, that how do I send my kid to Rai Bareli in North? That is only in the mind of the parents. The students need not worry at all. It is the latest infrastructure, modern hostel, very cosmo environment among the students. They are from all over the country. So there's no worry at all. The mess food is so good. Even if you are a South Indian or a North Indian, the mess food is so good. I have experienced that myself. It is so much better than what I ate during my hostel time. It's amazing 5-star quality treatment that you get at the university.
I do agree. I also agree.
So you get lovely food and the atmosphere.
Parulji, sorry to interrupt. Thankfully, I mean, this was so interesting. I've actually cancelled my next meeting. So 5:30 तक I'm free. But 5:30 I have to leave. Let's make it a little more interactive. ये एक यहाँ पर भी बड़ा interesting सवाल आया है. एक तो ये था from Mayur Barua. I would like to know on the career opportunities. I think this is already explained. So and we'll be happy to explain because aviation is a very wide field. So in a short conversation, we can't get about everything. But that is for Barua Saab to actually, Mayur to actually find it out on the internet and everything. If there's anything specific, please just send us a very specific question and we'll be very happy to answer. एक और कोई आया CS Vitender Kumar. Main thing in job succession or job program which is never seen honestly in aviation. अच्छा भैया, भाई भतीजावाद is everywhere. अच्छा भाई भाई भतीजावाद है तो मेरे तो ना तो भाई थे ना मेरे कोई भतीजा थे हैं ना कोई चाचा जी हैं एविएशन में, तो भाई हम कैसे, हमें तो 27 साल हो गए यहाँ पे काम करते हुए.
Same thing Amber with all of us. Definitely we didn't have any bhai bhatija. We can assure you.
वितेंद्र कुमार, आई एम श्योर आपने इतना बड़ा ओपिनियन बनाया तो ये तो खैर हर फील्ड में ये चलता है कि भाई वो मेरे से आगे निकल गया तो पक्का भाई भतीजावाद होगा. तो आई एम श्योर यू मस्ट हैव सम एविडेंस बिकॉज यू केम टू सच अ फाइन कंक्लूजन. But let me just assure you, we can go by facts and figures. So all the gentlemen and ladies who are on the panel today, expert panel, I don't think इनके कोई भी भाई या पापा या मामा या चाचा या फूफा जी were in aviation. All of us are all self-made people coming from very humble backgrounds. Most of us small towns. Okay, we worked our way up every day. Even today, I'll not leave office before 8:30 p.m. And I'm 50 plus. Okay, and whole Saturday, Sunday we've been working. Saturday whole day I was in Hyderabad along with the minister, and we even took a helicopter flight to Vikarabad, small town, because we had to kick off a drone experiment for medicine from the sky. If those who are interested would know. So we flew from Hyderabad to Vikarabad, came back, and then some 8 meetings back to back after that. And on Saturday night, we reached home at about 11 p.m. along with the minister. So with the minister and the secretary and other people also slogging as hard. So see, boss, we are, I mean, let's be very blunt. We are a backward nation. We've done whatever we had to do, but we are still not, I mean, we could have been number one by GDP. We are not. We could have been number one in aviation. Just a sec. There's even a call from PMO, but we'll take it later. Okay, yeah. Even in the top GDPs, ideally we should be in the top aviation company. We are not. Okay, so we have a long way to go. And long way to go. We have done whatever we could. We have come to this level, but from now on, with structured education, hard work, and great teachers like we have on the screen, we want our young generation to now do 5 times better than us. So that when we retire and we are sipping coffee along with our grandkids somewhere, okay, we feel when we read the newspapers and we hear of good things happening all across the country, and Indians like the Sundar Pichais of the world doing so well all over the world, not just in India, we'll feel very proud. So today what we're doing is just putting a little foundation to do that. And trust me, I mean, this is the same country where Dr. Abdul Kalam became the president. His father was a humble boatman. Okay. Even our current prime minister, I mean, we all know what background he comes from, right? Father used to sell tea. Every 100 meters, you'll get a chai ki tapri. His father used to run one of those tapris. Okay. Mother used to work in other people's homes to earn money so that Narendra Bhai Modi, who's our prime minister, could go to school and do whatever he did. So when prime minister and even a current president, President Kovind, he comes from the same city as I come, Kanpur Dehat. That's where our ancestors come from. His village still is a very poor, backward kind of a village. So if people can, from there he came and studied hard and became a Supreme Court lawyer, then rose to Supreme Court lawyer, then finally one day became president of India. So if you have presidents and prime ministers, Gyanis, LC, I mean, I can go on and on. ISRO, the head of ISRO is our revered senior from IIT Bombay, Dr. K. Sivan. You'll have tears in eyes if I tell you that did not wear footwear till class 12th. Class 12th. He did not wear a footwear. His father was a humble farmer in a small village in central Tamil Nadu somewhere. And he used to help his father in the fields and then go to the usual. I used to go 10 kilometers, 15 kilometers. Here's a man who actually has done that, Dr. K. Sivan. Okay, so he used to work with his father in the fields and then go to some school. He is today the head of ISRO. So, if you can become president and prime minister and head of this and head of that, coming from village background where your father was a humble farmer or a boatman. Dr. Kalam used to sell newspapers as a young boy. He used to sell newspapers on Rameshwaram railway station, and then again go to some whatever 5, 6, 8 or 10 kilometers to his school. This happened in the 60s and 70s and 80s. If then tabke log have become president, prime minister, why are you so worried? You can also become president of India or prime minister or the head of this and head of Indigo or head of GMR airports if you just work hard. So please get off this whole Bhai Bhatija drama. Okay, this is just excuse if you don't do well. I'm sure you would have some evidence. Whosoever asked this question, I'm sure you have evidence. But trust me, when I've given you live examples of people on the screen, of people not on the screen who are there in our offices, we have their photographs lying in our offices. Okay, those are all self-made people from very, very humble background, far more humble than at least you could learn English and write, connect our internet and ask this question in this panel. Trust me, only hard work matters. Hard work, honesty. It's called the 4H, and I'll stop there because I don't want to eat into Palu ma'am's speech. Okay, just remember the 4H. 100 rupees की बात है, free में दे रहा हूँ. ठीक है, hard work, honesty, humbleness, and happiness. फिर से repeat कर रहा हूँ. लिख लो. 100 रुपए एक चीज के. H. H for hard work. Number 2, H for honesty. Number 3, H for humbleness. Even if you become Virat Kohli, Neeraj Chopra, keep your feet on the ground. Okay. Otherwise, the world will cut you down sooner or later, or time or God will cut you down. And the fourth one is happiness. If you're not happy, anyway, you can't do 16 hours of work, or even 8 hours, or even 5 hours of hard work. If you're not happy doing what you're doing, and if you're happy doing nation building, working for the country, doing good things for your family and your kids, if you're not happy doing what you're doing, that's when the very beginning we said, if you're not passionate about aviation, don't waste time on this video conference or the webinar. Please go, there are 10 other things to do than waste time on this webinar and listen to us boring people, right? So let's take this thing off. Any other question? Student loans and scholarship, yes, we very much support it. We are also working with the Ministry of Social Development for SC/ST. We are trying to, we got some slots, 15 slots of scholarships. We're just doing the paperwork because they'll entire pay your entire tuition fee. Plus, I think there's some allowance, book allowance and hostel allowance also. So we are working very hard with the Ministry of Social Development and all that to get that issue. And loans ke liye bhi, what we do is, whatever you connect with your local bank where you have a connection, any letter you want, okay, we issue letters immediately. That many banks require in this format, that format, whatever format you want, just tell us the what we want us to write, because they want to know, okay, what is this university, is this recognized? Of course, we are an Act of Parliament university. This doesn't even come under the University Grants Commission. This is a parliament created by the Supreme, which is supreme in a democracy. It's an Act of Parliament called RJNU Act 2013. So it's an Act of Parliament company. Parliament has set this up, and it's been administered directly by the Ministry of Civil Aviation, where I happen to be a joint secretary. Of course, it's a temporary position. It's an additional charge given to me, and very soon a very strong person from the industry is going to come and become a vice chancellor. I can't reveal the name because his name is part of a panel which is with the president's office right now. And once the president issues the order, one of those 3 gentlemen whose names have been selected by an independent panel appointed by the President of India, he'll become all 3 persons who are nominated for that position by the panel, selection panel, are all from the industry. None of them come from any pure academics. Okay, they're all hardcore industry people. So I think this should all give you that confidence. There's also something, can we have orientation or a Q&A session, please, with the current batch of BMS students? Well, you can. I mean, what you can do is, what I'll request Dr. Chokial is to just put up some names, create a panel of students who might be keen to talk to the young students who are looking at, who are keen to join, and just give their mobile numbers, and then we leave it to the people to do a direct chat instead of we going and saying, this is good, that is great and fantastic. It's best that they talk to the people who are already there. Is it necessary to PG DAO from here if one has done BMS? No, definitely not. See, we are a free country, Baba. You can do education from anywhere you want. Okay, you can go to this school, that school, completely your choice. Okay, there is no such compulsion that you do BMS, then you have to do PAGDAO, PGDAO from here. Please feel free. Wherever you go, wherever you feel interested, it's your choice. This is a free country. And are there job burnout? Yes. Okay, fine. I mean, you're entitled to ask job burnout. Burnout can happen anyone. I mean, I shouldn't be saying this, but you've seen some very famous actor who committed suicide. God bless him, with no disrespect meant to any departed soul. See, burnout can happen anywhere. You can have a burnout even by doing nothing. You sit at home and get depressed and have a burnout case. Okay. There's another very famous, TV actor whom I just saw, with deep respect, who passed away at just a young age of 40. He was like a rock star, very popular and all that. So see, job burnout is absolutely, I mean, there's also someone called Mr. Narendra Modi, who's about to become 71 years old now. Maybe he is older than your own grandfather. He's working harder than all of us. And we have to keep up. In fact, I just saw there was a call from PMO. They were asking for some clarification. I just held them back because this conversation is also very important. So don't worry about burnout, and always look at your mental health, which is सबसे important. Mental health, if it's good, your physical health, financial health, social health, whatever health, types of health that you can think of, okay, will all be taken care of. So main thing is this MHI issue, mental health issue. Should keep on focusing on mental health. whenever as much as pressure you can take. Otherwise, very humbly and honestly tell your leader or your boss that I can only do so much. I can finish all the rest in 1, 2, or 3 days. And I'm sure most reasonable leaders immediately say, yes, okay, fine. They might even take some load on themselves. And I think that's how people on the screen, I mean, Bala Saab ka aapne suna is 60 plus, still going strong. You see the passion, he's all like a typical Talaivar, full of energy. So, and Prime Minister is even 10 years elder to Bala Saab. So, burnout, don't worry about burnout. Nobody burns out. If you want to burn out, you can burn out at age 25. Okay, what are unfulfillment in aviation role? Yes, of course, like any other job. Yes, you can have those moments of sadness. All of us, again, I'm saying, everybody on the screen has gone through unfulfillment moments. Okay, none of us are rock stars who every day have a rosy day. In fact, they say life is nothing but a series of disappointments punctured by high moments of achievement, right? So every day is a very boring day. If you look at my work, if I can show you the screen on my desk, they are full of files and issues and problems, fights, disputes, disagreements, policy work. Okay, lots of pain. As I say, nobody writes to the ministry, nobody visits the ministry or a hospital in happiness. This is what we are told. People come here only in sadness. Life is all about keeping just the boring humdrum stuff, okay, and a few. And there will be, after all the hard work, comes those few moments of success. And you top in your class, or you get good marks, or you get a promotion. Promotion don't happen every year. Bonuses don't happen every year in a big way. Okay, once in 5 years, suddenly you get a fat bonus because you did well, or you get a promotion in 3 years, or maybe you just get it in 2 years because of some huge work that you did in 2 years. But then after the next 2 years, it'll be very painful because you moved to the next level, but you were not ready for it. So maybe you are not able to do all the things which are required at the next level. So from assistant vice president, you became vice president. But vice president has more stress, and maybe you were not ready for that. So you may have a bad period. So life is just like that. So, I mean, most of us have spent 20 plus 30 years in this business. You will have moments of extreme sadness, extreme happiness. As Modi ji also said in one of the interactions with the Olympic guys, I mean, when you have success, stay grounded. When you're lost or defeated, don't lose hope. Don't let any success or failure go to your head. Okay, so that should not be a problem. What are my main motivators in aviation jobs? No, you have to be self-motivated, my young friend. Saket Sagar, Saket, you'll have to be self-motivated. Okay, because parents, teachers, gurus, friends, relatives, colleagues can only give you verbal chatter. Okay, we can always say good things to you. End of the day, you have to motivate yourself. So I'll not make some grand statements ki what should be my main motivator in aviation job. Either you love aviation, it's like playing the flute. Somebody plays the flute, somebody plays the tabla. Now you can't say why should I play tabla? If you are interested in tabla, play tabla. If you're not interested, don't play tabla. Find something else, because God has given all of us some talent somewhere to use it. It is for us to discover that. And all through our lives, it's a journey of discovery. What I might want at age 20, 10 may not want at 20, 30, 40, or 50. At every 10 years or 5 years of your life, our needs change, our expectations change. So we make career movements. It could be within aviation, could be outside aviation. So there are nobody can motivate you or give you any reason why you should come into aviation. Either you love it or you don't love it. It's as simple as that. Is it money, career, growth potential, or to work for a great company brand? Answer is all of the above. What am I made in money? Okay, that's a repetition. So I think whatever questions you had put, I think mostly we've answered. You still have time. All our panel members are here. And beyond that,
yeah, Mr. Dubey, we have one more speaker left with us right now. We have Captain Archana Kapoor. I'll request Ms. Kapoor to kindly share her perspective with our young professionals.
I'm very sorry to interrupt. I'm sorry for interruption, but it was just basically just to get it a little more interactive. And Captain Archana, sorry for butting in. Parul was speaking when I butted in. Parul, do you have any other thoughts you want to share, or otherwise then we'll move to Captain Archana?
I just wanted to share about one more program that we offer, which is the Firefighter Program, which is a very, very prestigious uniform program, puts you directly into airport rescue and firefighting course. It is just a 6 months program, which you can do after 12th. So it is, we have shared this with all the CBSE schools, etc., so that any people who are looking for employment right after passing 12th, this is an option. This is a very good option. And it is a very, very prestigious job. If you have good physical strength, then you can apply for it. It is a strenuous daily routine. For 6 months, you will be put into a routine where you will get up early morning, run so many kilometers, do push-ups, do rescue people. At the end of it, you have to rescue people from multi-story buildings, from fire situations, from various kinds of emergencies. So this is also a very good program, and several of our we have been running it for several years, and we, in each airport that we go around the world, we find our people, be it Middle Eastern airports, African airports, European airports. So this is also a very good program in firefighting, which is on offer by RGNAU, in addition to PGDO and BMS. So I guess we can now move on to Madam.
Thank you, Parvati. So over to our next speaker, Captain Archana Kapoor.
Good evening to everybody, all the participants, and of course the Joint Secretary, Phdcci, CCI, RGNAU. Feel blessed and thankful. Pleasure is mine to be here. I was given this invitation primarily because of the various jobs that I'd done in the commercial aviation sector. I'd worked in the ground jobs earlier on before I joined the Air Force, with Air India as a cargo sales executive, followed up by a message editing executive at British Airways, really early days. And let me tell you guys, whoever has this apprehension that jobs are limited today, I think we come from an era where jobs were really, really limited. So the opportunities today, even though the pandemic has hit, is way in excess of what it was in our times. My time when I was in college, there were the aviation of women pilots did not exist in the Air Force. So exactly how so many of the speakers before have elucidated, that passion remains the key motivating factor, and that can only come from within. Your opportunities in our time, this is just something to for you people, a food for thought, to think that 28 years back or 32 years back, probably, when I started my college and started flying, there were hardly any jobs. New airlines opened, and within a span of 3 years, because of Gulf War One, fuel prices went up considerably. A lot of airlines overnight closed, but that didn't deter people like me to eventually be sitting here today as a senior commander, a type-rated instructor, or somebody in aviation with multifarious experience. So I'm just going to guide you to the fact that the opportunities are in aviation are not only in civil aviation. Right at the outset, Dr. Jitendra Singh mentioned it, that the Airbus industries are procuring, are going to set up their industries to manufacture almost 40 Airbus airplane for the military over here. So there are a number of job opportunities. And I think number of other speakers have already brought out the fact that we are a country where the potential has not even been tapped in. We are not like fully developed countries which have, the potential for them is actually reducing, it's shrinking. But for us, the potential, despite the pandemic, in fact, untapped potential, which is constantly, because of the increase in infrastructure that has been undertaken in the recent, say, 7 to 10 years, the potential is only growing. So I think most of you should lay aside your apprehensions with regards to the job opportunities available. Specifically from the flight operations perspective, which is where I work, there are a number of opportunities besides the ones that you obviously know of becoming a pilot or becoming a cabin crew. You have flight operations officers, and you have flight dispatchers who are managing the entire show. So remember one thing, aviation is a highly regulated industry. The risk factors are higher, and hence across the world that every field needs a specialist and a skilled person. And so skill generation, like Dr. Balasubramaniam said, that skill generation cannot happen today. We cannot undertake, if I perceive 40 jobs today, I cannot be training people, 40 people today to take over. Skill development takes a while, and we are how it looks, travel industry is picked up. You know, airline figures are looking every day better. Domestic travel figures have gone up considerably in the last 2 or 3 months, especially in countries where the vaccination percentages are really, really high. So remember one thing, if you're going to think, every industry goes through a sine curve. And if you are going to be a person at the lowest ebb, but working towards getting your specialization, you're probably going to catch the industry or put yourself out there in the industry at a time when the jobs, etc., are increasing. So my only guidance would be that it's a highly skill-based industry. Every field, whether it is technicians, engineers, to ground safety managers, to ramp staff, literally, you need a lot of training to be able to do your job properly. And we today, as a country, have come, we have gone from leaps and bounds ahead in terms of our compliance to regulations with ICAO. And we set the highest standards. So we hope to have the skill levels and the people who are ready to deliver. Thank you. I'm open to any questions if anybody has.
Actually, I have the first question, that very interesting question, which came from one of the youngsters about Bhai Bhatija Wad. Did you see any Behan or Bhatiji Wad in this whole thing? Or was it just hard work?
No, not in my, I wouldn't say, I didn't see any Behan Bhatiji Wad. It's absolutely pure drive for making yourself become better and better. And like everybody else said, it's the passion for the job that you do, the interest, genuine amount of interest. And having seen the industry and the military, having taken part in a war, I think, all the different facets of the job are so interesting that I did not see personally. Even if it is there, then it is if it happens for some people, it is probably because that is the standard which is, it is out there for every industry. Some amount of maybe initial impetus, but somebody cannot launch you to the top if you don't have the caliber or you don't have the passion to drive you.
Thank you, Captain Kapoor. That was really very insightful. And there's a question, are there any courses for aspiring pilots, mainly online courses? So would you be able to answer that, or anybody on the panel would like to answer that?
Individual airlines have courses. Of course, ITA has courses which are run online, and the opportunity is available to almost anybody who's interested in doing them. You can Google the same. They are on the net. You can look at the possibilities. There are endless. The possibilities are endless today, and they're mostly online.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I just like to request all the panelists one by one to give their closing comments. Dr. Chokyal, would you like to just say a few words?
I would say that, in aviation, there are a lot of opportunities in airside, terminal operations, city side operations, and, in AOCC, the modern airports have got the AOCC there. A lot of, at least 5 or 6 of our students have gone for this command and control center of the airport. And there are a lot of opportunities, other opportunities, apart from, of course, the pilot and cabin crew and engineers. They are, there is no dearth of opportunities in aviation.
Thank you. Bala sir?
I am just 44 years in this industry, not too much. And I got an opportunity. I did my law, I did my cost accountancy. I'm extremely thankful to God that I did not go to those lines, but came into airline. I repeat this word: no chachas, no bhatijas, no mamas, nobody. Hard work and the other 4 which Ambarji really talked about. Ambarji can be Swimming Federation Chairman of India. He may know Bala very well. So he may select Bala as a main team member. Bala cannot even keep the foot in the water. So what happens? So no chacha bhatijas. I need to prove myself if I have got to take a post. That point I would like to re-emphasize to every kid. Be positive. Nothing can stop you from achieving your objective. Challenges would be there, as Amber said. Every day is not bed of roses. It's bed of thorns. But how do you face it? What activity you can take with it? That is what will determine you. God bless all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. Venkat, sir?
Yeah, there's no gain without pain. Another thing is this industry is so blessed with some of the best technologies. Amberji was just telling about Hyderabad, that he was there, and that is where all you guys would have also seen it in the TV news, that the vaccine distribution to reach out to the remote localities where by drones. Okay, this is something pretty fast catching up today on last mile delivery, which is faceless, contactless with very high precision. And each of you students, I see that you have phenomenal opportunities and growth with blended technology, both that comes to you both theoretically and on the job experiential learning. I think this is a great industry to be in. Just embrace it, be passionate, and move on. You have the brightest of future. Wish you all the very best.
Thank you, sir. Naresh, sir, would you be able to connect back? I think he's having connectivity problems. So, Parul, if you have some words, and then we'll request Amber, sir, to conclude.
So I just wanted to share with students that once you are in aviation, you are a constant learner. Okay, so there are various departments within the organization that you join that you constantly move to. So you are constantly learning new areas. You are constantly taking new responsibilities, and it is very, very exciting. So I remember, like somebody had asked me, what is your dream company? And I thought for a long time, and I was like, I'm already in it. I'm already working in one of the best sectors in one of the dream companies that keeps me on my toes, gives me new challenges, throws new assignments at me every day. So be confident while choosing this industry, and the kind of program that have been designed for you put you in the best shape to present yourself, present your project that you do, present the internship that you do during the project to the interviews who's finally going to select you. So all the best to all the students, and move ahead.
Thanks, Parul. One more word from Captain Kapoor as the first Indian batch of lady pilots, Indian Air Force, if you would like to just give the students some tips.
Okay, the most motivating thing for anybody to join aviation for starters is there is never the same thing happening again and again. So it's not it's not a 9-to-5 job. It is a dynamic platform. Aircrafts are either making it to the destination, diverting, emergencies, even on the ground. So it is not the run-of-the-mill job. I think that in itself is a very big motivator to join aviation as an industry if you are looking for something different. All the best to everybody.
Thank you. And Amber, sir, all yours now.
मैं इतना बोल लिया और क्या बाकी है बच्चे
No, Amber, sir, like, apart from the technical webinar, it was also as if we are in some motivational leadership talk, and Amber, so your talk definitely is a very, very motivational talk. I'm sure that many students will be motivated to join the academy and also the Rajiv Gandhi National Aviation University.
से ना ज्वाइन कर लेगी मन करा था टेक्सटाइल या स्टील में और ज्वाइन कर लिया एविएशन में तो but I'll remind me to charge I was charging $100 to Bhavna ji, now I'll charge $500 for all the nice words he said. So I've said whatever I had to, and I think now it's up to people if you're excited. And one very good thing which Archana ma'am just mentioned, that no 2 days are same. It is so exciting. And also to our young fellow Indians, I would just tell them, by dekho, everybody on the screen, none of us are professional actors. Okay, so I can fake sadness. दिन बड़ा खराब था, भावना जी ने मुझे कुछ बोल दिया, मेरी भावनाओं को ठेस लगा. See, we can all, I can act on pain and tragedy. Okay, I can fake my sadness, but happiness you cannot fake. Okay, you cannot have fake happiness. You can have fake sadness. But you can't fake happiness. All the people whom you heard, in fact, I'm so motivated that there was a meeting at 4:45 I had to leave, but I just requested, "Bhai, aaj maaf kar do. Yahan there is far more interesting work when I'm also learning." See, every day is a learning. Even today in this call, I have learned so much by listening to the same people whom I have heard so many times. Yet I learned something at 50 plus kind of an age. So it's a learning every day. God is kind. Every day we learn new things. And as Archana ma'am said, no 2 days the same. I'm in probably one of the theoretically the most boring jobs. I'm a babu, okay, who works with all these. I mean, if you see I can't show my camera, I can't rotate it, but you see my table is full of some 10,000 files. This must be the most boring job on planet Earth, being a babu in a sarkari daftar, surrounded by files. And the files on my desk are only 10% of the files, because 90% of files wo Modi ji ke dande pe, all 90% of the files are now digital files. So we have an e-office. So all our official files are all on the internet. And that's 90% of files. But 10% files and people complaints, letters, and all those things which come in the physical form, they're on my desk. And that's just 10%. Yet I find my job one of the most exciting jobs, because I'm dealing with aviation. Anything, any problem we try to solve, or like this latest drone policy that we just released, where I'm sure Bhavna ji will do another session some other day on drone policy. So every day that you're trying to resolve a problem, you're taking the country a little forward. Every day you're resolving somebody's personal problem related to aviation, or a state problem, or a district level problem, or airport, airline, whatever. Every day that you resolve a problem like a doctor, I mean, a doctor is surrounded by patients whole day. So every time you resolve a problem gives you a kick. And that's why we do this from morning till late. I'll not leave home tonight before at least 8:30 p.m. Of course, I'll get gally from my wife and family. But I mean, they also understand. Yeah, I'm a crazy guy, so maybe it's better to leave him in office than to have him home. So otherwise, wahan pe phone bachta rahega. So we might as well close everything and then go home, so that then for the next, till the next morning, we are kept free from home. So as I said, aviation is a crazy industry. Those who are in aviation are also crazy people. And I say that in a positive way. Okay, if you're passionate and excited about this sector, please come join our family. We'll be very happy to groom you, train you, and also get trained from you, because every day I interact, especially on drones. There's nothing which I knew about drones 1.5 years back when I was given this additional charge. But today, whatever little I know is all coming from youngsters who are as young as 17, 18 years old. When I go to IGRUA, most of those young cadets are all 12 plus, 17, 18 or 19 years. When I listen to them about real life problems during flying and their passion and excitement and how do they address that problem that they face on the engine issue or the cockpit issue, whatever. I mean, it's just a fantastic learning, just sitting with them in a mess and having dinner in the same student mess, which Parulji also spoke about. So I'll close by just saying it's a great field to be in. Don't come in because Papa ji said so or Chacha ji said so. Do it. Listen to your heart. If your heart says jump in, jump in. Otherwise, there are 10,000 other areas to work in. Thank you so much, and Jai Hind. And thanks once again to all panelists, all speakers, all panelists, and of course, Dr. Singh and Bhavna Singh ji. Singh is king. So thank you so much for arranging this at very short notice. Thank you so much.
Ambarji, one last thing, if I can add, especially for a person who asked the question about dealing with a lot of pressures. I'm sure Archana ji and the whole lot of every one of you are feeling that. I was managing 430 stations and head of operations of the largest airline in the world. I'm still smiling. I'm not crying. I'm happy to work. Thank you.
That's the spirit. So let's have 3 cheers for that particular spirit, and we all need to actually buy that spirit. So with this, thank you very much indeed, all our distinguished panelists, and also our distinguished Vice Chancellor, and also the Head of Academics of RG Rajiv Gandhi Aviation University. We are all become more wiser and learned after this interaction. I'm sure the students for whom all this thing was designed, I'm sure that they must have got benefited, and they must be charged up also to join some of the courses. And the professors are like, if we can have a Q&A, some sort of a web page or something like that, which we can post to all our participants also. I'm sure there must be some other questions, some technical questions also, which many of the students, sometimes they hesitate to ask the questions. If there is any web page or some sort of a catalog, we will post, since we have the email addresses of all our participants, we will definitely send it to them immediately, so that they can have more clarity about these courses. So with this, thank you very much indeed. Thank you all of us for joining this very, very important session. And also thank you to our supporters and our sponsors also for making this program a very, very enriching program. So with this, we come to the conclusion of this session and we look forward to such interactions in the near future also. Thank you very much. Thank you indeed.
Thank
Thank you and Jai Hind.
All the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Chokyal sir. Thank you, Bala sir. Thank you so much. Welcome back to India.
Anytime, anytime. Okay, thank you.
Catch up with
All
you.
the best.
Thank you.
Excellently organized. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.